They don't hear me though. But they don't hear me though. But they don't hear me though. When I hop on a beat, I'm gonna be something like an oddity prodigy. Oh my god, he be rocking these beats of modern day Socrates. I'm unlocking the lock with no key. I'm not what they thought I would be. No mockery, flocking to see my cabinet of curiosities. Twilight zone beside my bone, I'm split. I need like 5 mics on inside my dome. There's no lights on. You get what I mean? I'm by gone. When I write my song, really wanna bite on like snakes. I say, better yet pythons. When I write my wrong, despite how long they never wanna break or be bygones. Mind of a comic, always thinking of new material. Out of the box, the way I kill these beats is serial. Even though the verse is hot and blasting through your stereo. They don't really hear me though. 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 They don't really hear me though.
Yeah, it's time to clock in again, hop in the wave, get to the booth, make draws start dropping again, stopping, never been no option, cause my competition been flopping again, topping the 10 best rappers coming out of my city, got them all sobbing again, plotting to win, but I got a question, when is hip-hop gonna start hip-hopping again, Haters mobbing again, shocking to see them all start flocking again. I'm gonna get the mic cocked, but I can't let y'all's blood get on my conscience again. I'd rather fuck your girl and after take the bitch shopping again. And she gonna come back knocking again, sopping wet, gotta start mopping again. Guess they never give a fuck unless I'm popping pills, sipping lean. Y'all say anything so you can cop a deal, so it seem. I've been proud of all my shit, I keep it real, being me. But if I gotta really rap, I shoot to kill, R.I.P. And they don't even know. Been giving y'all this heat, you sleeping and it really show. It's time to wake them up with shit, they make the speakers blow. But they don't really hear me though.
They don't really hear me though. They don't really hear me though. They don't really hear me though. They don't really hear me though. They don't really hear me though. They don't really hear me though. They don't really hear me though. They don't really hear me though.
Welcome to HomeFront Sitrep. I hope you're in for a great show today, because I'm just a veteran talking about what's on my mind and maybe yours.
You can find HomeFront Sitrep on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. You can also check out HomeFront Sitrep's YouTube channel.
Buckle up, the show is starting.
Mic in hand, ready for deployment. Podcast feels heavy as the ointment. Veteran tales straight from the trenches. Pop culture splices, pulling down the fences. HomeFront Sitrep, stories that collide. Veterans speaking truth, no reason to hide. Gritty and raw podcast on replay, decoding the past, paving the way. War zone whispers, bullets and bombs. Back to civilian ticking like a time bomb. Medals on the mantle, scars on the mind. Every episode another mystery to find. HomeFront Sitrep, voices from the fight. Veterans sharing dark, stepping into light. Real life saga, not some fairy tale. Truth and resilience, never gonna fail. HomeFront Sitrep, stories that collide. Veterans speaking truth, no reason to hide. Gritty and raw podcast on replay, decoding the past, paving the way. War zone whispers, bullets and bombs. Back to civilian ticking like a time bomb. Medals on the mantle, scars on the mind. Every episode another mystery to find. Legacy 11X, story of Marines. Army anecdotes, Gulf War scenes. Vietnam echoes, Desert Storm sounds. Podcast chronicles, glory and bounds. HomeFront Sitrep, honesty is core. Veterans laying bare what they endure. From the front lines to the homebound grief. Episodes of grit, grind through the grief.
Welcome everybody to a Sunday edition of HomeFront Sitrep. How is everybody doing? Gunny, how are you, sir?
I'm good, man. Finally dug out from I guess a foot of snow that we got over the past week. And, Micah and I took a trip to Eastern North Carolina to see his godfather and my friend Josh. Went back to Camp Lejeune for a little bit, Camp Geiger, Jacksonville. Man, dude, if you haven't been back there in a while, you wouldn't recognize any of it.
Oh, man.
Like the main gate's not the main gate anymore. There's other bypasses on base and overpasses on base. And
what?
Like the 2-8 barracks are still there, where you and I were. They're being refurbished as we speak.
Oh, dang.
1-8 is still in their section. But I think 1-6 is in our old headquarters building. 28 is
Okay.
over by the commissary and all that stuff. There's a big bypass over there by the automotive shop and the old, I guess, the old secondary main gate, right? Because when you and I were there, it came off of 17, and
Yeah.
then it shifted. So you had to go on through New River and then make a left right there by the commissary and the exchange.
Yeah.
Well, now the road prior is where on through the New River Gate, but the
Yeah.
road prior is now the main entrance into Geiger. And yeah, man, so much has changed over there too. Some of the old buildings still there, just refurbished. And there's a lot of new stuff going on. Advanced School of Infantry, a whole bunch of stuff. So yeah, it was nice to get back there, and of course for Micah to see his godparents. He hasn't seen him for, man, when they left. I guess probably 10, 11 years ago when they left for Japan. So it's the first time he's seen him in about 10 years.
Oh man, yeah. No, it's crazy. Like I knew they were doing a lot of when Brad was stationed down there. We'd go down to visit Brad and Stacy, and it was changing then. And I knew they had a lot of plans, but I mean, hell, it's been 10, 15 years since I've been down there, and I knew it has changed. I just hadn't been back down there since.
It's I mean, like I said, you wouldn't recognize it. I mean, there's don't get me wrong. There's still a lot of things that are the same from when you and I were there, but it's also a lot different. Um,
Yeah.
like I said, they have an entrance from TT that goes on the base now,
Oh
and
dang.
now the new main entrance comes in off of, I want to say, over near Camp Johnson is where
Okay.
the new main gate is. But yeah, it's so nuts at how much things have changed,
Oh
and just like, I mean, I go back to my hometown, and some things have changed and some things have stayed the same. But
yeah.
you with the upsize and the downsize and everything that the Marine Corps has going on, a lot has changed.
Yeah.
I mean, even on
So
New River, I mean, there's so many new hangars, and they've done away with squadrons. They're bringing back squadrons just to keep up with the tempo.
yeah. Yeah, no, the snow finally quit here in Kentucky, and people are kind of slowly getting back their normal day to day. I mean, hell, the kids tomorrow will be their first day back to school since Christmas or before the Christmas break, and
Yeah,
they're like, "Oh, we're not ready to go back." Of course, they had extended.
I am.
I know I'm ready for them to go back too. And we had RDC shoes on recently, and
Yeah, Darren.
yeah, I had with Darren, and I'm excited to announce that I did get my shoes in the mail. I believe it was yesterday. They came in the mail, so I've already opened them. So I did a uh, unboxing yesterday on TikTok, but it's RDC shoes. So I'm gonna kind of. This is the Patriot edition, which is right there.
Yeah.
On the front, it says Woody Williams Foundation. And then you got the Congressional Medal of Honor Society. And then on the back, it says honor the valor, support our heroes. And these are the Patriot edition of the shoes. Now, what's cool about these shoes is when you get them and you open them, the first thing you're going to see is a card like this that has a Congressional Medal of Honor recipient on each card. And then this one is Captain Dolan.
Roger
Um,
Dolan.
yeah, Roger Dolan, which is super cool. And then it's, there's a little exploit of, how he received.
Yeah, it should be the citation or the portion of the citation
Yeah.
for his Medal of Honor.
Yes, as during the violent battle that ensued, lasting 5 hours and resulting in heavy casualties. So yeah, it tells you how he
Yeah.
became a recipient of the Medal of Honor. But these shoes are super cool, man. I'm just um, show them around here.
Yeah.
And then what's super cool is with the shoe company, they support Gold Star families with Woody Williams Foundation and stuff like that. The eyelets at the top are gold stars too.
Yeah.
Which I know you know about them, but for the
Yeah,
people
and he said he's going to continue that with every rendition after this, is keeping that gold star to the top,
heck yeah.
to honor the Gold Star families.
And then the name of the shoe, the Patriots, on the tongue, on the back it says RDC shoes, which is super cool, man. I'm super. I can't wait for the snow to go out and I can put them on. My wife and kids are like, Daddy, those shoes are definitely you.
And they're comfortable, man. And when we had Darren on, he was talking about having the golf shoes, and our guest tonight plays a lot of golf,
Yeah.
and I'm sure he would greatly appreciate a pair of those shoes once they're done too. So other than some of the other stuff he has going on too.
Oh yeah, definitely. So our guest that we got coming on tonight is an Air Force veteran. Chris Morgan is his name. In 2001, he was medically honorably discharged medically from service injuries after getting a head injury in the Middle East. So he was medically discharged, and then he had to find a way to cope with the headaches and everything else that was going on with him. So woodworking became his therapy. Like this podcast is my therapy. He had to find a creative way out to help fight his demons, and woodworking is one of those ways that he has found to do that. But we'll let him tell his story.
Yeah, and it goes deeper than the woodworking.
Yeah.
I've known Chris since 2016. I met him in Montana, and you had Montana Warriors on the Water on mid last year, and that's where I met Chris, was at that event, and him and I have stayed friends since. So I'm glad that he agreed to come on and talk about his service and talk about what he's doing now with Veteran Flags by Vets.
Heck yeah. So without further ado, let's bring Mr. Chris Morgan up to the stage.
The Big M, Little Organ. How you doing, Chris?
I knew that was going to be brought up.
Welcome, sir. How are you? Well, it's our honor to have you on to tell your story, man. So if you don't mind, I know I kind of gave a little bit of your background there. If you don't mind, introduce yourself to all of our watchers, our listeners, and people that will watch and listen later.
Yeah, and I'll tell you a little bit about my service too. Air Force vet, 7 years, 2 months. Joined in January 94. Right after basic, I went to tech school down in Wichita Falls, Texas, Shepherd Air Force Base. I got to tinker here in Oklahoma City around July, April, somewhere around July. But then April 19th, 1995 happened, which was the bombing of Alpha P. Murrah building here in Oklahoma City. And I immediately volunteered, especially being a young airman and whatnot. They always said volunteer, volunteer. So I did, and thinking that I was going to be moving rubble off the street or something like that. Didn't even know when the time they said it was a gas explosion. We didn't know anything, but I ended up serving down there 12-hour shifts for right at 2 weeks, and I was on body recovery. So during the day, we would circle the body parts that we found with orange spray paint, and then at nighttime, then the night crew go in and gather up the pieces and take them over and take them to the medical examiner and whatnot. So that's pretty much where my PTSD came from. I never saw combat in the military. I worked for AWACS, the E3 ground support for them. So I went to Saudi Arabia twice, Turkey once. They were just TDYs, anywhere between 50 days and 90 days. One of those, I was injured. I fell on the flight line, hit my head, and they diagnosed me with the mild concussion. But come to find out, it was a brain bleed. And that didn't start up until about 2 years after my head injury. I just randomly started getting migraines, and which I'd never dealt with migraines at all. And once those started, of course, all the doctor's appointments started and all that. And then out of nowhere, I passed out one day at work. And so they thought maybe I had a heart issue. So they sent me down to Houston for a heart test, and there at the VA. And during it, there was nothing was going on with my heart. So they ended up doing a brain test, a 7-day brain test on me, and that's where they found the brain down here on my brain stem is where I hit my head, and that's where the damage was, and that's why I was having issues with heart attacks and all that, and congestive heart failure is what they call it. But it's more about my brain is telling my heart to stop, but my heart's most of the time healthy enough to kick back on. And then right after that, I started having seizures, and
Mm.
then the seizures took my life over. That's when they medically retired me and or medically discharged me. And then I spent about 10 years in major depression after that because the day that it happened was me and my wife and 2 kids went to Red Lobster for dinner, and we had just ordered our food. And right after the waitress walked away, I had a seizure right there. And my wife did amazing. She just got the food to go, got me out to the car, had the kids in the car with me while she brought the food out, got me home. And the next day I woke up, I was out pretty much the whole night. But the next day I woke up, my daughter was 4 at the time, and she's rubbing my head as I'm waking up. And I was like, what in the world's, I, I thought we were at dinner. I remember being at Red Lobster, but I don't remember anything after that. And she's just crying, and she goes, Daddy, well, you fell out of your chair and you were shaking real bad on the floor, and
Mm.
everybody was looking at you, and it really embarrassed me. I'd rather us not go to dinner out anymore. Let's stay home and eat.
Ouch.
And that stuck with me for many, many years. I mean, I still think about it. But that's pretty much when I attempted to do the most selfish thing that a human can do. And thankfully, it was a misfire. And that click, I'll never forget. It's my second chance at life. So that's where I turned everything around. I met Sam up in right when I was going through severe depression up in Montana with Warriors on the Water. And one of the best things that ever happened to me was that trip because
Mm.
I got around other veterans. I got to tell my story to other vets. And that's one thing with vets is it's difficult to talk to civilians when they can't really relate to what we're talking about. And that's what changed my life is that trip up there to Montana.
Yeah, and here's the thing that a lot of people says, oh, you can only have PTS if you served in a combat situation, and I'm here to break that stigma because you can get PTS from just about anything. I mean, one of my first instances of PTS, me and Sam, we were training. This is when I guess we were with 2-8, and um, we were doing a live fire exercise, and one of the guys crossed in front of a saw gunner and wound up dying right there in front of us, which still is a mental, aspect you know, of that. And then of course Port-au-Prince, Haiti, which was a humanitarian mission there, and the shit that we seen in Haiti. So you can definitely get PTS from without going into a combat situation. So
Right.
I can
And
only
mine was
go ahead.
kind of, it was really what, my daughter was born, let me see, 4 years after, no, 5 years after the Oklahoma City bombing. So anytime there was a child to carry out, everybody on my team had kids. I didn't have any kids. So whenever there was a child to carry, I always did that
Mm,
because I didn't want to mess anybody else up worse than But I'll never forget when my daughter was born, the second night we were home, she was crying in the middle of the night. And I told my wife, I said, no, you just stay in bed. You're exhausted. Let me go get her. And I went and got her. I made her a bottle. We're sitting there in the rocker, and I'm rocking her, and she's just eating the bottle. And all of it, I just started pouring sweat. I mean,
mm,
just profusely. And I was like, what in the? That's when I realized something's not right. And then it hit me that really that was the first time I had held a baby that had a heartbeat or was breathing,
mm,
and then through the years, I mean, I lost my wife to it. In the middle of the night, if she got too close to me and I could feel her heartbeat or breathing, numerous times I've tried to pick her up out of bed to get her out of the house, thinking I found a survivor in my sleep.
Mm.
So, and that was 10, 15 years after the fact. So, I mean, there's things in our brain that stick with us, not just combat. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
I mean, there's
So,
things as military personnel that we experience that the normal human being doesn't experience, right? So if you're a police officer, a firefighter, an EMT, even dispatch, right? Because they hear the calls,
Yeah.
and your brain isn't conditioned to see or hear those things. So I mean, it's a
yeah.
traumatic event no matter what, right? It doesn't have to be, you being blown up a couple of times and experiencing that. It's just you seeing things that the normal human being that the brain doesn't process correctly is still a traumatic event. So I mean, that's the thing, is post-traumatic stress is the result of a traumatic event, right?
Yeah.
Post-traumatic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, going out to a or going out to a restaurant and passing out in the chair and falling on the floor, and then waking up and having your daughter say that she doesn't want to go out to restaurants anymore because you embarrassed her. That I, I imagine that had to take a toll on you as well.
Absolutely.
Because I know for me, my kids are my world, and for my kids to come up and say, "Hey, Daddy, you embarrassed me," or something of that nature, unless I do it
Yeah.
intentionally, I think that
Yeah.
would,
Then it's totally different.
yeah,
Yeah.
then
But
it's totally different. But
she
for
was
a
just
4-year
young.
old, yeah,
And
Yeah, and
kids.
she was a child, so really
yeah,
Yeah.
didn't understand what was going on. Hell, Chris didn't even understand what was going on right at the
right,
time.
Yeah.
And the first thing he sees when he wakes up, one, he's not at Red Lobster anymore, and two, he's at home with his daughter, and the first thing she says is, um,
You embarrassed me.
"You embarrassed me."
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
look at that, Chris Spoon Man's on there.
Who?
Derek Holmes, the Spoon
Derek.
Man.
Oh, nice. Love you, Derek. You and your dad miss y'all.
But
so
I mean, that's going to stick with you for a while, no matter what, right? And I'm sure she doesn't feel that way anymore, right? I've been around her a
No,
little bit, and
absolutely.
it's
Yeah.
a little bit different, and it's like, you know, when my kids were young, they were killed. They were, I said that they were killed. I read Derek's comment there. He said killing me. They were born after I was injured, so they didn't understand some of the things, so they heard things and would recite things that they heard, and then ask questions. Well, why did you want to do this? Why did you do this? Right, and they just, their brains absorbing so much they don't understand.
Yep. Yep. And they're quick. I mean, a 4-year-old, I mean, they're straight honest,
Yeah.
they just, it was more of a question, but yeah. So I spent some time in major depression, and I missed a lot of my son's football games, and my daughter was a cheerleader for him, and I stayed at home and let them go and live their life and whatnot. And I felt more at that point in time, I felt more like a burden to my family than a part of the family. So, um, but
yeah,
grew
well,
out of it, and yeah, everything's good now. And I've turned my life around like hugely. I mean, 360-degree turn. So,
mm, that's amazing. Yeah, I mean, you're not. So when you said you just changed your life around 360 degrees, a lot of veterans out there. I can't say a lot, but there's a bunch of veterans out there that keep playing that victim mental, or have that victim mentality. They want to live in the past. They don't want to move forward. And it looks like you found an avenue to help you move forward. And
absolutely.
so let's dive into that a little bit. So how did you find your avenue? How did you find your avenue?
Yeah, so I was just sitting after my divorce after 19 years. I was sitting on my recliner, I had the TV on, and I was just looking around the room at empty walls. And I was like, I've always wanted a wooden American flag on my wall. And my grandfather had passed away about 10 years before. And I asked the family for all of his woodworking stuff. He was real big into woodworking. And I never did anything with them other than fish, but I watched them a lot. And so that either fishing or his woodworking is what I was connected to with him. So the family they were great. They let me get everything. I had it all in a storage unit here in Oklahoma, from Kentucky. Kentucky's where I grew up. And so I one day I was like, I started searching on, and I saw how expensive they were, and I was like, I'm not buying one. I said, I have all Poppy stuff out there. And so I just slowly started getting pieces and putting it in my garage. And it took me about 3 days to build the first flag. And it was all subdued. It was all black and white. The stars I cut out using a Dremel tool. And it took me alone to cut out 50 stars was about 12 hours roughly to cut those out by hand. And then the next day after I made it, I went golfing with a buddy that had just returned from his fourth tour to Iraq. And after golf, we decided to come back to my house for 19th hole beers in the shop. And he saw the flag that I made and he was like, "Man, where'd you buy that?" I was like, "No, I built that. I just finished it yesterday." And he was like, "Man, do you mind building me one?" And I grabbed the flag and I wrote on the back of it, I signed my name and I put number one as flag number one. And I handed it to him and eh, I saw him smile. And James just don't smile much. He's not a smiler. And it hit me right then and there. Oh my gosh, I can build these for friends and family and give them for Christmas gifts or birthday gifts or whatever. Because when I was working on that flag, I wasn't thinking about the depression or the anxiety, or I just wanted to make sure I built that to the best of my ability. And I was like, I'm just going to keep making these because they're therapy for me. And then giving it to James, seeing him smile it was a big light bulb that went off in my head. So, long story short, right after I got done with all the ones with friends and family, then I decided to start a nonprofit and here in Guthrie, Oklahoma. So now I host five vets at least once a month, five different vets. They come out. I have a part of the flag done, the union and the bottom red line cut. And all they have to do is I teach them how to build the flag from top to bottom. They burn all the stripes, they do all the staining and everything. While it's drying, we come inside. We have lunch donated by several chicken places here in town, and we break bread together. We spend about an hour, hour and a half talking and telling stories. And, that's the best therapy for vets is being around other vets. And then after that, we go out to the shop, they glue them up, and they get to take that flag home that day. The other thing I do is I have them build a wooden cross, and they have to promise me when they build this wooden cross, they can't give it to a friend, they can't give it to a family member or anybody they know, no coworkers or nothing. Just leave the cross in your car. And when you're out to a restaurant, whether it be Red Lobster or any of those others, uh, when you're out there and you happen to see a vet wearing a hat, just go out to the car and grab that cross, come in, present him or her that cross, thank them for his or her service, and then they get to feel how I feel when I'm giving a vet a flag and they don't know it's coming. That's what fuels me is the reactions and everything. So after they do that, they take a picture and bring the picture back to me, and then they build another cross and they rinse and repeat. And they just love woodworking. And I mean, 90% of the people that come through my program have came back to either help set up for the next class or build more crosses to hand out.
That's
So
amazing.
it's super rewarding. We are also a 100% nonprofit. Sam knows this, that my board will not take any money. I'm not taking any money. So every dollar that comes into our program stays in the program. And I want to keep it that way forever. Um,
Yeah,
hopefully we
so I've
can.
got I've got flag number 5
Yeah,
from
that
Chris.
was it. Yep. I remember making that one. You wanted the green line one. Yep. And I presented that to him up in Ohio,
Yeah,
right
in
outside
20 in
Lake Erie.
2018. And he's asked me since, hey, I've got a CNC now. You want me to redo it? I'm like, hell no, I don't want you to redo it. Every
Right.
single one of those stars was done with his hand and his sweat. There's probably 10 pounds of sweat into that flag right there that's
Oh,
soaked into the
yeah.
boards just from Chris.
There might have
So
been a little bit of beer spilled on it too.
but I mean, and this is hung in my office here since 2018. I don't want to redo. Hell no. That one's perfect for me.
Right.
That's the beginnings, right? And that
Yeah.
and then look where he is now with this nice, CNC engraver that the stars
There
come
was
in and they
actually, yeah,
groove
it
in
was
and
actually donated to me by a Marine Corps vet down in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I was down there at a nonprofit Folds of Honor golf tournament, and I was paired with this guy, and we got to talking and so forth. And really long story short, he said, "Man, I love this program, and what can I do to speed up the process so you can make more flags?" And I was like, "Well, really, I think it would be a CNC machine, but there's no way I can't afford a $7,500 machine." And he sent me a couple options. He goes, "Well, which one of these do you think would work?" And I told him, "Well, I think this one would be fine as a good starter or whatever." 7 days later, UPS showed up with the pallet, and there's my CNC machine, 100% donated by
Oh
that
man,
veteran. Yep.
that's
So
awesome.
here's one that these are the style that I make now for the vets. So you'll see the whatever branch they served will be in the center of the union. I will cut this union out and have that ready for the veteran that day. And then on the bottom red line, I don't know if you can see it very
yeah,
good.
yeah, we got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the bottom red line has their rank, name, and years that they served. And those are the two things that I cut out. Everything else the vet do themselves. So they'll do all the burning, the staining, and everything. And then glue it up, take it home that day. And then here's what the crosses look like as well.
That's nice.
This, of course, is a Marine Corps. I'll do every branch in here, but the ones that I have them do, there's no branch here. It's all stars. So it's universal for any veteran that they come in contact with out at the restaurant. So,
Heck
yep.
yeah.
And we do sell these. We sell the crosses and the wooden flags. Um, in between the free ones for vets, I never charge a veteran for anything. Um, I prefer the veteran to be nominated on my webpage, and that sends me an email, and then I'll build the flag up. If they're out of state, I'll ship it to the nominator, and then that nominator will get to go and present that flag to the veteran. So I prefer the vets not really know it's coming. I mean, you can submit your own request. I'm not going to turn you away by that by any means, but they're 100% free to a vet or a family member that wants to give it to a vet for Christmas or birthday.
Heck
Um,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
my
you
fingers
still
are,
doing the triangle flags?
no, I don't
Just the
do those
union?
anymore. Yeah, they were too time consuming. So I did a lot of those for Folds of Honor, roughly probably 200 of them. But again, it was a 100% donation that I donated. I've donated numerous flags. I've raised Folds of Honor over $75,000 for scholarships. So I mean, each scholarship is $5,000, and
Yeah.
I've raised them a lot of money. And both my kids got scholarships, and I was like, this is what I want to do. Is I always help nonprofits.
Yeah,
I
both
don't
my
charge them
boys
a
have a
dime.
scholarship too.
Yep, yep. So the other thing is numbers. Every since I wrote number one on that first flag, this was 4.5 years ago now. I'm just under 1,400 flags right now, and I'm right at 500 and I think around 550 wooden crosses.
Heck yeah. That's
Yeah.
awesome, man. That is amazing. So I'm on the website, which is scrolling across the bottom of the screen here. There's the about section. You got ordering details.
Yep. The
Um,
ordering details is where you can go and nominate. There'll be a drop down on there if you want to purchase a flag or if it's a free flag for a vet. You just click that free flag and submit their information in there. It'll pretty much ask you everything that we need to know. And that just sends me an email, and it's an automatic thing through there. I print it up. And since I had another brain injury 2.5 years ago that really I'm not even supposed to be here today after that one. But I am, God willing. He wasn't ready for me. And So I'm back to doing the flags and so forth. But since I have a lot of memory issues. So I set up my email so somebody else has access to it. So I never miss a flag nominated.
Heck yeah.
So
So it looks like you have ones on here to order. You got the 50-star flag, which is the regular flag. Then you
yeah.
have the Betsy Ross flag with 1776 and We the People. And then you got a Kansas City Chiefs flag.
Yeah,
What is
that just shows that I can make any style flag. I make a lot of flags for companies and whatnot
that? Okay.
with their logo in there. But with the NFL teams, I have had the Chiefs reach out to me and the Dallas Cowboys because veterans requested that um and they're on my webpage, but I'm not receiving funds from that. So
Right.
there is no copyright, there is no trademark or anything. They can't do anything for me. So I cannot sell flags that have a
Yep.
trademark unless it's your company
Right.
and I need written consent to cut it before I do it. But that's the way. I mean, I don't sell those.
Heck
So
yeah.
I mean, I'll give them away, and if anybody wants to donate or whatever, then so be it. But I don't sell anything with a trademark on it.
And then you
Yeah, we
got
have a question there. What's the price of one of your flags, Chris?
Yeah, the small flag, the standard flag that the veterans make are 13 tall by 24 wide, and I sell those for $150. The reason I sell them for $150 is because that will allow 3 to 4 vets to come to my class for free. So again, we're a 100% nonprofit. So every dollar that comes in stays there. And that's the way I have that price set up. So we at least know every flag sale, 3 vets for sure are coming for free.
and
Uh,
and
uh,
mom, that's my mom that asked that question. If you're thinking about doing it for a veteran in your family, mom, the veteran, you can nominate that veteran and the veteran would get one for free. Just to give you a heads up.
yes.
Because
And then,
my nephew's getting ready to deploy, which we have several military members in our family, but my nephew is getting ready to deploy. He deploys January 20th,
oh,
so
wow.
he's heading overseas to the Middle East somewhere. Not really at liberty to discuss where he's going. I know where he's going, and I don't like the hot spot that he's going to, but um, so that's probably why she's asking.
Yeah, I'll be praying for him. Stay
Yeah,
safe.
we're all gonna be praying for him. What's going on, Brian? How are you? That's my buddy from middle school, Brian
Oh,
Hobson
nice.
there.
Nice.
So yeah, so you
Back to the prices too. These we sell for $50. And actually I started making these just out of scrap wood that I was throwing away the first 2.5, 3 years. And me and Chris Corey, a veteran buddy of mine, we decided, hey, let's start building these crosses. And I sell more of these than anything really. But these are $50, and that allows 1 vet to come to the program for free.
I do like that
So
a lot.
yeah. Yeah, those sell pretty hot, and they're a lot cheaper for individuals as well too. So,
Heck yeah.
and I
Heck,
can do anything. I have some that have Trump in there, and um, Air Force. I have all the branches. I do the red line. I do the blue lines. Um, yeah, so I
heck
made
yeah.
a lot for a lot of
You doing
companies.
any more coin displays, or you kind of back off on those?
I back off on those because they're so time consuming.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I did win second place. I don't know if you saw that, Sam, in a national contest on mine. And what I did is I used the CNC and I drilled little dowel holes in it, and then I glued or super glued in dowel rods, little dowel rods, and then I super glued 9 millimeter shell casings onto the wood dowels. So that's what was holding up the coin was
Nice.
9 millimeter shells. And yeah, that actually won me a hat, but it was a national contest through the Shark CNC machine that I have.
Heck yeah.
So
So my buddy Brian said he liked the cross that you were holding up.
yeah, I'll show you a couple more here that just so you can see them in person. Or
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. You got the Air Force, Navy, Army. Heck yeah.
And
Heck
there's
yeah. Trump,
Trump and the red line. And then over here is a
blue
blue line.
line. Heck yeah. No, I like them. They're nice. Those crosses are really nice.
Yeah, they're so easy to make. And I love the fact that the vets can take them and leave them in their car, and they get to feel how I feel every time I present a flag. I mean, that's so rewarding for that vet and me as well. I love
Yeah.
hearing that, hey, Chris, I need to come and make another cross. And look at this picture, this guy, and we sat there and talked for blah blah blah. I love hearing those. I love the
Yeah.
stories.
That's the stories that always gives me the good feels. So we do Operation Veteran Santa. We started it last year. We did one family, and then this year we did 6 families this year. And just seeing the kids' faces when Santa pulls up and is giving all these toys and stuff, that's all that matters. Just seeing their faces
Yeah,
light up. That's what I love doing. So all right.
absolutely. I do. If you want, how we doing on time? I can walk you out and give you a little tour of the shop.
Oh, we got 15 minutes or so. We got a little bit of time if you
Okay.
want to walk out to the shop.
Yeah, let's do it.
So while you're walking out, let's play our commercials real quick while you're walking out.
Sounds good.
All right, Sam, let's play some commercials. Which commercial do we want to play first?
I think we do ask. Let's do ask Monica.
All right, let's do Ask Monica. If you're a veteran and you're in need of filing your disability, you want a second question, or you just need a second opinion. We at Homefront Sitrep have partnered with Monica Sanford out of Florida. She runs the podcast called The Monica Sanford Show. You can reach her via email at askmonica0@gmail.com. Let's play that real quick. So yeah, reach out to Monica at askmonica0@gmail.com. And then across the bottom of the screen, you see some of our partners. You got Heroes Media Group, Reach Across America Radio, and Veterans Voice Radio, Military United podcast streams. We are proud partners with these organizations. Go check out their websites. You can also find Homefront Sitrep on Reach Across America Radio on Thursday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern. You can find it on the link, which I'll scroll across the bottom of the screen right there, reachacrossamerica.org/radio, or you can go to the TuneIn app, Audacity app, or TuneIn and iHeartRadio. I had to think of what the other one was. And just search the word wreath, and you can find Homefront Sitrep on there. So let's play that real quick, and then we'll get back to Chris. Hey, it's Willis. Join Candace and I from Homefront Sitrep on Thursday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern on Reach Across America Radio. You can find Reach Across America Radio on the iHeartRadio app, the Audacity app, and TuneIn app. Search the word wreath. All right, let's back to Chris now. Let's put him on the main screen.
All
So you're
right.
at your shop, huh?
Yep, this is a shop. I'll come down here and show you the whole size of it. It's 25 by 40 shop.
Nice.
This is a pool table that was given to me from a buddy of mine that he refinished it and made it into the red, white, and blue that we all love.
Heck yeah.
And, of course, we got some beverages out here. These are some unions that I'm prepping. Uh,
Getting
this
them
is a
ready.
flag. Yeah, this one I just stained right before I came onto the podcast. So
Nice.
after it's over with, I'll glue that up, and it's going to a buddy of mine. Built a bathroom in here and got a big wood burning stove, and it's 82 degrees in here right now.
That's a little too warm for
But
me.
Yeah, me
yeah,
too.
it's I got to open a door.
Yeah.
This is a new saw stop that was donated to me. Um, it's one of them saws that if your finger hits the blade, it'll drop.
Oh
So you
dang.
don't take your finger off. You get to
Yeah,
keep
I'll
all your
let you
digits.
trust that, not me.
Yeah, I'm not testing it. No way.
Hey,
So
you can use a hot dog to test it.
yeah, I've seen the video, and I'm not. It's $100 mistake when you do it. So you got
Yeah,
to
yeah,
replace the brake and all that.
Mm.
yeah.
So there's my CNC machine that the Marine Corps vet donated.
Heck yeah. That's pretty
So it's
awesome.
a 24 by 24. It's a Shark 4. So
Nice.
yeah,
Heck yeah.
but and these are all the glue tables. So when the vets come, they each have their own table, their own workspace, and whatnot. So yeah, this is it. This is where
Heck
the
yeah.
magic happens.
That's where the magic. That's the man cave magic happen shop.
Yes, it does. Yep. And then I also host a lot of vets that are wheelchair bound. And right outside this front door, I have, well, there's none out there right now, but I have a feeder, deer feeder right out there.
Nice.
So I put a wheelchair accessible door in here, and they can just, we wheel them out, and they sit and wait, and they get to shoot a deer in my backyard.
Heck yeah.
So,
Yeah,
Heck
I tell you.
yeah.
So, like I said, I've known Chris for a while, and where he used to live compared to where he lives now. So when he had the place, so traveling to Albuquerque with the team, driving the gear out there. Chris is just over my halfway stop. I'm like, brother, I need a place to crash. He's like, yeah, I got you, no worries. So Oklahoma City ish, right? Roll in, and he's like, dude, let me show you this video. Literal drive-bys happening at his old place, and it's
Oh
old base
shit.
housing of Tinker. I mean, and then it's like video after video, and then bullet
I was
holes in the
averaging like
house.
3 a week.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was crazy. So now where he is now in Guthrie, man, I've stayed at his place too, and I tell you the changes that have been made to the garage / workshop with the awning, because that wasn't there before. Because I've not been out for a while. But yeah, I get to see and follow Chris through Facebook and see the good work that he's doing with the vets that are coming in. And he said, and he does some of the parades and hands out the wooden crosses and parades. I mean, he'll do like 20, 30 crosses that he'll make for the parade. And if he sees a vet with a Vietnam veteran hat or whatever veteran hat on, he jumps down off the float and gives the flag, or he walks the parade route. But yeah, I mean, he's doing some really good things out there in his community and for the veteran community as a whole.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. No, I love it, man. I've always liked woodworking myself. It's something that it is therapeutic when you're out there and you're building something. I'm actually going in the process of building um, an L-shaped bookshelf so I can put all my veteran books that I have here and have them on display on my bookshelf. So I'm just got to get back down to mom's and get the because I got rough cut lumber. My cousin sawmill or milled a bunch of wood on his property, and so I got a bunch of rough cut lumber, and that I'm just gonna saw down or put them on the table saw, make sure they're all legit size wise and stuff like that, and that way I can make a nice little L-shaped bookshelf out of there.
Yep. It's hard to see, but up here in the top of my shelf, I have a bunch of hardwood up here,
Heck yeah.
but a lot of it is Purple Heart that I'm trying to incorporate into a flag somehow, some way. So I love wood. I know that sounds bad, but I love wood. It's just it's my therapy, you know. And every time I walk out here and I smell them shavings and the dust, it's like home.
Yeah, yeah. No, there's nothing like it. I mean, I know Sam has his fishing. I have my outdoor therapy. You got your wood therapy. Uh,
Yep.
you just got to find. We have to find what works for us when it
Yeah.
comes to dealing with our demons and stuff. And
Yeah.
you just got to find your niche at what works best for you. And thankfully, you found woodworking, and you were able to, in the process, help yourself, but in the process help other veterans out there.
Yeah.
uh, and,
Yeah,
and I,
I got to share a story real quick because you
all
brought
right,
up fishing. So
all right.
Chris already knows. So I've been fishing a lot with Chris, or he's been fishing with me a lot, however you want to look at it. And we were taking part in an event up in Ohio on Lake Erie. And earlier that year, I had gone and talked to a high school football team about overcoming adversity and things like that. And it's just a little motivational speech. Well, they were playing a team out of Cleveland. So Chris and I left, and we all put in like $5 or $10 into this pot. And I get a phone call. Hey, you got to come back. You won. I was like, oh, okay. We want to present you with the stuff, and you got to go. It's like, shoot. So we boogie back to this restaurant, and we walk in, and Chris didn't know. There's guys from the Cincinnati area that went to that high school, and they're like, well, who won? And Chris is like, Sam's is the biggest, but mine's the fattest. and the waitress just the waitress was like, what?
What?
And he's like,
Yeah.
the fish. Sam had a bigger fish, and mine was heavier. Mine was fatter. So that's why I was laughing a little bit earlier, because every time, it brings me back to that.
Yeah,
Back to that. Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I won some money, and I split the money, and it was a good day.
heck
Yeah.
But mine's still the biggest.
It pays
Yeah,
to be bigger.
Yeah, my mom put out here, she said, was her husband, my stepdad, loved woodworking as well. Like that was his therapy, out creating little things to give family members, whether it be like a bread box or something like that. He did all kinds of things with woodworking, and that was just, his shop was pretty set up back in the day. So
Yeah. Well, here's one that I want to show you real quick. See how I built that shelf?
yeah,
The VFW here in Guthrie got a flag donated that he didn't have any family, and so I have the flag with me, and in hopes to build a shelf. So this is just a design that I'm thinking about producing as well for family members. If they want to buy a shelf, they can actually have the branch on it. So it's just not sitting on the mantle.
Yeah.
Then I mean the branch will be on there, the name, rank, whatever, years served, whatever the family wants to put on there. And then that way this flag will be held up by uh
Yeah.
its own thing. It's just not sitting on the mantle collecting dust.
yeah,
Let
definitely.
me show you the makeup. I didn't prepare to show you this, but here's what it looks like if I set that down. And this is actually the guy's name.
Oh man,
Yeah.
okay. Heck yeah.
So I'm going to take that back to the VFW, and they're going to post or hang it there in the post. And yeah, well, we'll always know who that flag is. You don't have to get up close to it or look at
Right.
any writing on the back or whatever. So that's another thing that I'm dipping my hands in just to help some families and so forth.
My mom says she needs one of those.
All right. Well, you know how to get a hold of me.
Mom, I will get you in touch with Chris, and we'll get one made for my stepdad, for his flag. So
Yeah,
we'll make it happen, Captain, for sure.
absolutely.
Well, Mr. Chris, I want to thank you for coming on and hanging out with us. We're gonna wrap it up real quick, and
Yep.
if you want to
Uh,
just hang out in the green room for a
Yeah,
few
but
minutes.
before he gets up there though, Chris, I know you got a service dog, Andy, now, and a lot went into that, and you still do a lot with that organization. Do you want to give them a shout out while you're on here? Because there
Absolutely.
may be a veteran out there that is searching for a service dog that's looking for an organization that could help them out. And I know Andy's done a lot of good for you.
Oh, she saved my life 3 times. I mean, I wouldn't be here today if I didn't have her. So, yeah, I got her from American Humane. They started a program called Pups for Patriots. You have to be 100%. No, I'm sorry. You don't have to be 100%, but you have to be rated through the VA or yeah, the VA by traumatic brain injury or PTSD. A rating in one of those two. What they do is they'll provide you with the dog. The dog's fully trained for the most part. They just train you how to use the dog for about 6 months. Then you go through evaluation. If you get the green light, then she's your dog for life. The other thing is with American Humane, there's a lot of nonprofits out there that have dogs, and I'm not knocking them at all. We need dog in every veteran's hands. Every. I have not personally known or heard of any veteran that had a service dog that still committed suicide. I've, I mean, I want that's just never. I want a dog in everybody's hands. So I started partnering with them. I travel a lot with Andy, and we speak at events to help them raise funds. These dogs are roughly $30,000 as their training. So and they take a lot of money, but they're life changing for veterans. So I do a lot with them to help them out, and it's my goal is to get a dog in every vet's hands because they are absolutely life changing. The other thing with American Humane is where I was going with that when Andy, I hate to think about it, but when that time comes and she passes, I get another dog immediately. So I will have a dog for life through this organization. They
That's awesome.
cover food costs, they cover vet bills, they cover all of it.
Mm.
So it's an amazing. Just look up Pups for Patriots, American Humane, and they have dogs available right now. They're all over the United States. So absolutely, I appreciate you allowing me to do that, Sam, because
Yeah, man.
that is. I mean, I can't believe she woke me up three minutes before I had chest pain. In the middle of the night, she was pouncing on my chest like she was trying to kick my heart back. I was like, what in the world, And I got up to take her outside. I thought she really had to go. I had a massive heart attack in my bathroom floor. She
Oh
brought me my
man.
cell phone. Yeah, she's trained to bring me a life alert button, my cell phone, and a bottle of water. And if I don't acknowledge one of the three by the time she brings them, all three to me, then she'll bite the life alert and it'll call 911 and my neighbor.
Oh dang.
And yeah, I mean, they're amazing. These animals are so smart. And one thing I do want to say about a service animal or a dog, and I always end my speeches in American Humane events like this, is if you're married, raise your hand. If you love your spouse unconditionally, raise your hand. The hands will be up everywhere. And then I say, okay, I'll tell you what. Now go home, lock your wife or your husband in the trunk of the car with the dog in the trunk of the car and leave them in there for 3 hours. Go back out there and open that trunk. Is your spouse going to be happy to see you or is the dog going to be happy to see you? That's unconditional love that you can't get anywhere else. That dog will lick you absolutely to death.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Your wife would kill you, but the dog would lick you to death.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, there's nothing on earth that will give unconditional love but a dog.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I want to say our spouses are, but yeah, it's a different love, but it's not 100% unconditional.
Oh yeah, for
Nope.
sure. For sure. Well, Chris,
So,
we're gonna drop you in the green room. We're
yep,
gonna wrap it up and then we'll talk some more, brother.
I appreciate y'all so much. We'll talk
No, we
soon.
appreciate you coming on
Yeah. Thanks,
and
Chris.
showing us what you guys are doing. Um, gonna put your link, your website back up on the screen here while we wrap it up. Appreciate
Perfect.
you, brother.
Yep.
Man, that was so super cool, Sam.
Yeah, I tell you,
Super cool.
that man right there has done a complete 180 from when I met him in 2016 to where he is now. And even after 2016, he was still struggling a little bit, and we bring him in for fishing events, or I'd go see him or whatever, and having this new place, having his shop being done the way it is, has completely transformed him and changed his life. He is doing, like I said earlier, some amazing things for the vets in his community and for the veteran community as a whole.
Heck yeah. Thanks, Al. Mr. Albert Hero with Triple Threat Vets podcast in the chat tonight. Appreciate you coming in here, Al, and hanging out with us. Yeah, man, it's super cool because, like I said, your therapy is fishing. My therapy, what my go-to is, out being out in the outdoors. Chris's is woodworking. My stepdad's was woodworking. Now, I don't get me wrong. I love going fishing. Like when we were in Florida, we went fishing. I love woodworking. That's something that I've always done since I was itty bitty. Was love, fiddling around with, creating different things woodworking wise. But for something to help Chris do a complete 180, and now he's out giving back to the community that has helped him. And then we're definitely going to check out that veterans, the service dog organization, Pups for Patriots, because I think that's pretty neat as well. Because service dogs are one of those things. Because if a veteran reaches out to a service dog organization and they tell that veteran, "Hey, you can't get in until 2026," something's wrong. I mean, there's got to be more service dogs out there so that veteran can, find to get a dog quicker.
And sometimes those organizations they don't have one trained, right? Or they just have a pup. And when I got Echo, they had other dogs that they had vetted, if you will. They weren't good fits for service dog or for service dogs, but they became therapy dogs.
Yeah.
Right. And the therapy dog doesn't get the same access as a service dog. And then of course, they're training for basic stuff. And then they have to train for the veteran they're being paired with, and train the veteran for the basic steps and commands and everything that they've trained the dog for. So it's a huge, long process. I mean, it was almost a year, I think, for Echo and I, and Echo was already 3/4 of the way trained.
Heck yeah!
When I got paired with her.
Well, I want a Cane Corso service dog. That's what I want. There are organizations out there that utilize Cane Corsos.
Yeah, I mean, Echo's a pit bull. And it's just the stigma of a pit bull and the stigma of a veteran, right? And we always say in this household, who saved who? And Echo saves me every single day. There's a picture that the trainer took, and it's me. And my head's down on Echo's head, and then my sister-in-law last Christmas had an outline photo done of that. Dude, and I broke down crying, and my wife's like, "Oh, I got you pictures of Echo on a air conditioner," and that does. I was like, and a smell good thing that I hang for the car, or something that I spend 90% of my time at home doing with the dog, and she knows if I grab her. My nose, for whatever reason, my nose fits right where the curve of her brow comes down to her nose. It fits perfect. So it was almost meant to be. But, that dog saves me all the time.
No, service dogs are amazing. And if you get one that's highly trained, because not everything, there's a lot of organizations out there that will say they're service dogs that are completely trained, but there's some organizations that go, a step above, and the dogs are, very, very highly trained. Like we got Dogs Helping Heroes here locally. They are amazing service dogs, and they're kind of like, if the dog winds up passing away or something, then that vet, it goes to the front of the line. Or Northwest Battle Buddies up in Washington State up there. That's another great service dog organization as well. Had a buddy that from Kentucky. He now lives in New York. Had his leg amputated. He's an Army veteran. Had his leg amputated, and he was in the process of getting a service dog. Well, a couple of the places says, well, we can't get you in anytime soon. So
Yeah.
he reached out to me, and I got him connected with Northwest Battle Buddies, and he's actually going to be getting a service dog through them. Now, the key with them is they're up in Washington State, so the dog is trained for 6 months. Then the veteran comes out for the last 5 weeks and spends 5 weeks with that dog and goes through the program and stuff there. And they put the veteran in hotels and helps with food and lodging. Oh, there's Echo there.
Oh, good girl. Oh, she got the headset. She got
Oh,
the headset.
my headset.
Mama needs to clean your nails.
She got
Yeah.
it. She got it.
Yeah, she's a good dog, and she, like I said, even with her vest off, right? She's still
Yeah.
working because she knows,
Yeah.
sometimes I'm stressed, and she doesn't leave my lap. As
Yeah.
soon as I sit on the couch, that's it for that dog. She's there all day until I tell her to move, or it's dinner time or it's time to go out. So, and that's what a lot of other people don't understand too is, your service dog is working 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
And everybody asks me why I leave her at home when I travel with the team. It's because she's working 24 hours a day. You can't be expected to work 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
Even though, your branch of service thinks that you could, but you really can't. There's mental fatigue and, washout and sleep deprivation and all this other stuff. And dogs get that way too. So,
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, there's a lot of organizations out there that are doing service dogs, and some of them, like she said, doing better than others. But, sometimes you might not be the right fit.
Yeah.
You might go get paired to your animal, and the animal doesn't accept you. That dog does not accept you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, that happens.
And dogs are very intuitive anyway. So,
Yeah.
yeah. All right, Sam, let's wrap her up. We got a guest in the background. This is you.
Yeah, you're not alone. You still have worth. You still have value. Don't let your dark days win. There's people out here that want you, need you, and just want to be part of your life.
Amen. Amen. And then hashtag be someone stranger. And what we mean by that is we as humans, we're more apt to talk to a complete stranger than the ones we love the most. So hashtag be someone stranger. Be somebody's ear to let them vent to. Don't try to fix them. Just sit there and listen to them. Whether it be a 5-minute conversation, could be a 5-hour conversation. You have to ask that next hard question, because I can go up to Sam or Chris and say, "Hey, how you guys doing today?" More than likely, I'm going to get a lie. I'm okay. I'm hanging in there. I'm living the dream. I'm going to get a lie. Then that's when you have to ask the next hard question. Hey, Sam, how are you really doing? And then that's when more than likely Sam's going to say, "All right, brother, this is what's going on with me." And it could be a 5-minute conversation, could be a 5-hour conversation. You have to be ready for that conversation.
I'll tell you, that's no truer statement tonight, because I was that stranger for Chris. He was that stranger for me back in 2016. Along with the eight other of us that were up there in Montana and Hell Creek. Just it was us in nature, man. There's one freaking street light in the whole campground. You have nothing to do but talk with each other. You're kind of forced to do it, right? And sometimes the alcohol's involved, and you talk a little bit more than you normally would, or you get diarrhea of the mouth. But and that's what happened in Montana. And when Chris got home, he realized that there are guys out there, girls out there like him that have experienced some situations, and it turned his life around.
Yeah. So hashtag be someone stranger. And then if you're a veteran or human, just if you're anybody and you're in crisis, dial 988. If you're a veteran, you hit star pound or pound one, star one, whatever.
Star one.
Star one. 988 star one if you're a veteran. 988 if you're just a human and you're in crisis, reach out to the crisis line, and they'll take care of you. Let's play this little commercial here real quick. Yeah, I think I've said a few of those today. You know, of course, I didn't really do a whole lot today. Today was Sunday, my chill day. My wife and kids got up and left the house and went to church this morning, which is this is my off weekend. I should have went this weekend instead of last weekend, but um, we so just hanging out and by myself, and sometimes it's never a good thing, but I
Yeah.
try to stay super busy and uh, keep myself doing this or doing that, so my demons don't creep in. And but today I had a real bad sinus headache, and I was just like, man, I'm done for the day, and it knocked me out, and I took some medicine and feel better now. Just I'm hoping I'm coming on the far end of what was going on with me over the week, and um, ready to go tomorrow. So tomorrow we have FSB initiative. Every time I think of FSB, I think of Russia. I don't know FSB in Russia, but it's called FSF.
Isn't that the KGB? I mean,
Yeah, but there's FSB in Russia too. Um, but FSB initiative, it's a organization that helps combat veteran homelessness in the United States. They're not a national organization, but they are not just local to one area. Chaz is the founder. They'll be on tomorrow. And I tell you, we have some really great episodes coming up this year already. I mean, February's almost booked. I think we have 1 day, maybe 2 days left in February to book. And we're just rocking and rolling, man. I'm super excited to see how our year's going to go. Um, and then hopefully, Miss Candace will get her health under control and be able to come back and join us as well. So, but it's that time of night, Mr. Sam. Like we always say on Homefront Sitrep, stay safe out there. We
we
got
got
you.
year 6.
Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed this show.
Suggestions and comments are always welcome.
Cannot wait to have another great show with y'all.
Don't forget you can find Homefront Sitrep on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
Stay safe out there. I got your 6.